Hello everyone! Today, we're going to talk about the international financial institutions and global corporations. What is international financial institution? International financial institutions were founded by groups of countries to promote public and private investment, to foster economic and social development in developing and transitioning countries. The financial institutions that have been established by more than one country. We have 5 multilateral development banks: the World Bank Group, European Bank, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, and Green Climate Fund. They were established after the World War II to help rebuild war-torn countries and manage the global financial system. The Bretton Woods system is a new international monetary system. It was held on July 1944 at the Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, United States. From the delegates of 44 nations, it was created. The International Monetary System was created to ensure of exchanging rate stability, prevent competitive devaluations, and promote economic growth. Bretton Woods established US dollar as world's reserve currency. From 1944 until 1971, all major world currency was pegged to dollar, while dollar pegged to gold, a relationship popularly known as gold standard. How can the country recover if we can't devalue the currency? Bretton Woods Agreement established with the two multinational institutions. First, the International Monetary Fund, who is supposed to lend money when others won't, and the World Bank will help less developed countries grow. The US dollars in existence was increasing, then the US gold reserves was exhausted. That's why President Richard Nixon ended Bretton Woods unilaterally terminated convertible of US dollar to gold on August 15, 1971. We have 5 key elements, which are par value for its currency expressed in terms of gold or the gold value of the US dollar, the official monetary authority in each country, International Monetary Fund, all restrictions on the use of its currency for international trade, and US dollar became the global currency. Bretton Woods system ends. It was end because of central banks were unwilling to continue to buy overvalued dollar-denominated assets and to sell undervalued foreign currency-denominated assets.
Hello, good day everyone. The report is all about globalization, the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT, and the World Trade Organization, or WTO. The General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, or GATT, born out on Bretton Woods system wherein a global trade and finance are affected by the system, and GATT was established in 1947, and it was a forum for the meeting of representatives from 23 member countries, and it focused on trade, goods through a multi-nation trade agreements, and conducted a many round of negotiation. However, out of the RK round, the agreement was reached to create the World Trade Organization, or the WTO. World Trade Organization, or WTO, headquarters is located at Geneva, Switzerland, with 122 member states as of 2008, and it is an independent multilateral organization that become for trade and services, a non-tariff related barriers to trade and the other broadened areas of trade liberalization. And this is one of the example by Wurtzer in 2015. Differences between nations in relation to regulation on items as manufactured goods and food. A given nation can be taken to task for such regulations if they are deemed to be an unfair restraint on the trade in such items. And the neoliberalism, the general idea where WTO was based, means that by reducing or eliminating barriers, and all nations will benefit. A significant criticism of WTO. The first issue in agriculture. Trade barriers created by developed countries cannot be countered enough by WTO, especially in agriculture. The second one is the Green Room. The decision-making process were heavily influenced by larger trading powers and the so-called Green Room, while excluding smaller power and meetings. And the last is regular protest and demonstration against WTO, pointed out that non-international government organizations are not involved, leading to the staging of regular protest and demonstrations against the WTO. The other one, globalization, the International Monetary Fund or IMF, and the World Bank. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, found after the World War II, and the establishment was mainly because of the peace advocacy after the war, and institution aimed to help economic stability of the world, and they are basically banks, but instead of being started by individuals, they were started by countries. In the last, they designed to complement each other. The International Monetary Fund, the main goal was to help countries which were in trouble at the time and who could not obtain money by any means, while the World Bank has a long-term approach. The main goal revolved around eradication of poverty, and it funded specific projects that helped them to reach their goals, especially in poor countries. Two institutions, the IMF and the World Bank, has been dwindling due to practices such as leading to corrupt government or even dictators and imposing ineffective austerity measure to get their money back.
The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, and the European Union, or EU. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, most encompassing club of the richest countries in the world, such as US, Canada, France, Germany, and Italy, have 35 states as of 2016, with Latvia as its latest member. As per currently, May 2021, there are 38 countries such as Lithuania in 2018, Colombia in 2020, and Costa Rica in year 2021. Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries was originally comprised of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Iran, and Venezuela. Indonesia, once a member of this group, a family in ASEAN region, we also can compete in terms of petroleum and also in geothermal gas. It was formed because member of countries wanted to increase the price of oil in the past and had relatively low price and failed in keeping with inflation. Means, in the past there is inflation because the main source of petroleum, which is Iraq and Iran, began in war, so the distribution of petroleum decreases. Today, included members are United Arab Emirates, Algeria, Libya, Qatar, Nigeria, and Indonesia. But as of 2016, Indonesia and Qatar are not members of OPEC. Indonesia in 2016 and Qatar in 2019. European Union made up to 20 member states. The major states who has the largest population are France, Spain, Germany, and Italy. Policies of the European Central Bank are considered to be significant contributor in these situations. Most members in the Eurozone, some Western European nations like Great Britain, Sweden, and Denmark. Creation of NAFTA has caused manufacturing jobs from developed nations such as Canada or US to transfer to less developed nations like Mexico or to the South America. Mexico. Consumer food prices rose, causing 20 million Mexicans, about 27% of their population, to live in food poverty. United States become $127 billion richer each year due to trade growth. Because of Canada, who are the producer who export to US and the US distributed it worldwide. NAFTA was blamed for job losses and wage stagnation in the US because of competition. Because the American small business depended on exporting their products to Canada or Mexico under NAFTA. Canada. 76% of Canadian exports go to US. As you see, the Canadians are the main producers and they export it in US, so that's why US is richer because they distributed the goods worldwide. If NAFTA changes or is eradicated, it would be devastating for Canada's economy because if when the NAFTA changes, like if it changed that instead of Canada, Mexico will become the exporter to US and the Canada. It will devastate because the main source of income are eradicated.
Thank you for listening.